Hey guys, it's Simon here with Hobbies Man. Once again, today we're going to be doing the last chapter of the Wheel of Time, Fighting with Heaven review, part 4, chapters 43 to 56, 44 to 56. And I do have some general thoughts, but they're kind of spoilery. Even though this is a spoiler review, I want to talk about them after I've talked about the spoilers first. So these general thoughts will go at the end. But kind of overview, I do think that we are suffering from the same kind of issue that the Shadow Rising suffered from, and it's that the ending feels very abrupt. It's like, okay, all of these things, and then the rising action takes forever and it's super long, and then the action sequence is great, but then the falling action and the resolution is like in 3 seconds. And it's kind of ridiculous that it happens so fast, especially because there's these really big moments that happen in the story, and I didn't really feel their impact. So it is what it is. Partially, you could argue that it's because I have knowledge of how the function of epic fantasy is, which is, characters of certain archetypes, experience, unalivement, and then they return later in some form or another. And so some of the situations that happen here weren't super impactful, but it is what it is. So yeah, let's get into the rundown here. Rand's thinking about what if scenarios for the battle to avoid as many deaths as possible. And then as he's trying to do this, and he's trying to make sure that he manages to put the maidens to the side somewhere where they won't be hurt because of his weird obsession with not letting people, or not letting women die. Now, I saw Daniel Green say that this was like a misogynistic tendency. I'm not really sure that it is, but I also can't say that it's not. My understanding of Rand's situation with this is that the only person that he feels he has killed himself was a woman. And so he doesn't want other women to die because of his internal trauma about killing a woman. And so that's not misogyny, that's like weird self-trauma that isn't good at being expressed. Can you read it as misogyny? Yes, but I don't think that that's really it. And I felt really odd that someone like Daniel Dean would say that, because he is so invested in the story, and that is kind of like the most surface level way of reading Rand's kind of like situation. But then maybe I'm looking at it wrong, so I'm not really sure. This is my first time reading this book, and it's kind of like the second or third time that I've read the previous book, so I don't really, it's not like I've read them that many times myself either, but Rand's situation doesn't really come across as misogynistic to me. It does just come across as like a weird way of dealing with his personal trauma. So yeah, but the maidens are like not having it. They're like, dude, we're not gonna be put away somewhere else. We care your honor. We're gonna be with you, so you're gonna go with us to the tower. And they do this because they want to protect Rand, and they want to be able to still have the honor of being in battle. And so that's how that works. But both sides think that they're trying to save the other. And so it's kind of ridiculous, but it is one of those things that Robert Jordan loves to do, which is show you the thought process of one person complaining about one specific type of action, and then having the other side of the situation complain and about the same person in the same way about the same action, and show this kind of redundancy that people have, and also this kind of level of hypocrisy that everyone has. That is also fun and enjoyable to kind of remember and recognize, right? So then. Rand and the girls, Egwene and Avienda, basically become mortars, I guess, or artillery, I guess you could call them. They're just lobbing, fireballs and lightning at people, at the Aiel that are back, right? And of the other forces that are fighting against them. And it's really cool because you're slowly getting to see that someone that can channel, that doesn't have restrictions, is fucking hardcore, bro. They're literally walking like weapons of mass destruction, and that's crazy, and I really enjoy that, because we're not really there yet. They haven't really done anything super crazy yet, but they're very soon going to be able to do that, and it's gonna be insane. So really cool stuff. I really enjoyed that part of the story. Then we move on to Matt, who's trying to escape. He sees a trap, and he turns around to try to warn people, and what happens is that he accidentally ends up leading them, and becomes the leader of the Band of the Red Hand, named after these ancient Manetherian warriors that helped defend Manetheren when it was falling, right? So, this all happens accidentally, and it's just because Matt has Taverian powers, and also because he can't help himself, since he has the memories of 1,000 different, warriors. So, really cool stuff. I really enjoy this a lot. I like this part of the story, mostly because I love how Matt can't stop himself from putting his fucking foot in it, and then having to deal with the consequences and hating every second of it. It's just like fun. Like the way that he has to deal with his situations just leaves me with a lot of fun, right? And it's enjoyable. Then we come back to Rand and the girls who are tired and are attacked by this male channeler. Rand notices it, but he can't do anything to stop it because they're so new to the power, and also because they have exhausted themselves, right? And so basically they set off a nuke on this watchtower, and people die all over the place. Then Matt becomes the de facto leader of the group, like I said. He ends up killing Culloden almost by accident and off screen, so he gets to reap the benefits of being like the killer of the bad Aiel leader, but also we don't get to see any of the situations that lead up to that. So that kind of sucks. I really wish that there was like a as long and pedantic as the series is, sometimes it leaves you with wanting more. Like, if Brandon Sanderson ever made, like, an extra book that was just, like, extra scenes from The Wheel of Time, and he just told you, hey, in this chapter this happened, here's the scene that is missing, I would read that. I would find that to be really, really enjoyable, right? But, this part is missing. It's not important. It doesn't really matter, but it is kind of an important scene that I really wish we would have seen, right? So, then the Band of the Red Hand are singing Jack of the Shadows for the first time in the book, although it's a song that I know that I've listened to quite a bit, because there's this YouTuber called Reflections of Sound who has an amazing rendition of the song that is really, really good. And I think Nameless used to use it as his end music at the end of the video, and that song is great. And then we return to a wobbly Rand who forces himself into Cardian against the will of his protectors. Aiel are wearing these headbands now that denote them as the spear of the Dragon Reborn. It's kind of weird because this isn't something that Aiel should be doing, but also Rand finds it off-putting, but then it's something that never gets explained or talked about later on. So, I don't know. It's something that is brought attention to often, but doesn't ever go anywhere, and I'm not really sure why that is. But, it is what it is. He enters the throne room, and he sees that the noble people are arranged in a fashion that doesn't work for him. He doesn't like that the Tyrians are putting themselves above the Carians. And so he forces all of them to reorganize based on status, regardless of country of origin. So this kind of helps him, I was going to say be more egalitarian or be more meritocratic, but that's not really true because these are all noble people. But it makes Rand establish a level of power here by not letting himself choose one country over the other. So I like that. I think it's cool. Then we move on to Nynaeve and Elaine, who are with the men, who get a ship, and they get ready to leave. And Nynaeve forces the ship captain to take these refugees that they've seen, and then the girls are finally out and make it out of where are they? Amadicia. I don't remember where they are, but they're finally out of wherever it is, and they meet with Egwene in the dream, and this happens right before Egwene gets hurt, I think, where something happens here that is basically like the last time that they were able to meet for a while. And so that's that. They finally arrive at Sally Dar, and they're kind of treated badly, or at least not the way they thought they were. They thought they were going to be received as heroes, as people that were important and that had done a great service, and rather they're treated as runaway children. And this obviously grates them a lot because they've been doing more than any other Aes Sedai. They've done all of the important work, and no one is willing to acknowledge that for the sake of their stupid power plays about position and who is an Aes Sedai and who isn't. And that really bothers me as well. I'm like, dude, these characters are all the ones that are doing anything. Like, what the fuck have you guys here at Sally Dar done besides like fix a little shitty town into something somewhat livable? So yeah, I don't know. I didn't love this part. I didn't like how they treated them, but also it is what it is. They convene with Swan and with Lyanna and Min, and then the men decide to stay. And Nynaeve and Swan reach an agreement after this kind of very serious and very quiet but fierce like interaction between them, where they're continuously trying to blackmail each other into agreeing to each other's terms. And it eventually does work out, but I love the ridiculousness of these women like clearly needing each other's help, but not be willing to just give it to each other for free. So I don't know. I really enjoy these character moments a lot, even if they're kind of like annoying sometimes or grating. It's like, dude, you need each other's help to shut up and do it. But ultimately, humans are like this, so I really like that reality, that kind of situation there, that works. And then Elaine and Min talk about love and the relationship with Rand, and the fact that Min has foretold that there would be 3 women dancing around Rand, and Elaine and Min are one of them each. So yeah, then we move on back to Rand, who is dealing with nobles. He gets a letter from Tarvalin, and he puts Matt to use. He starts forcing him to lead his armies for him, basically. And then Matt tells Rand that Morgase is dead, and this actually starts the final sequence of the book, where Rand, in a fit of rage at Ravine defiling Morgase's throne and stuff, and removing Morgase from the world and hurting Elaine by proxy, goes crazy and tries to attack him. And so This starts a plan in motion, but it doesn't happen immediately. So things happen after that. Melindra, the woman that was laying with Matt, turns out to be a dark friend, and she tries to kill Matt, but Matt manages to kill her first. And this is a really sad moment for him because he was with this chick, and he has to kill her, and it really sucks. And Matt manages to move on, but he's definitely upset about this. So yeah. Then Rand plans a way to kill Ravin, and then Lanfear goes crazy because she learns from Kadir that Rand has been laying with Aviendha, although they've just been sharing a room, and she starts fighting Rand and everyone that's around him. Actually, she hurts Egwene really badly. Because of this, crazy situation that they find themselves in the morning before they go to fight Rabin. And so they leave, and they're fighting, and Rand is losing. And then Moraine shows up. She throws herself at Lanfear, and then they cross through the red door, one of the red Elfine portals, and basically they die. Their power goes out, and they both potentially die. I'm not really sure what happens. I'm pretty sure everyone says Moraine is dead, but I didn't feel like that was the case because it felt really abrupt, but also like no one really took the time to mourn her when you would think that she'd be a really important person. Like whether Rand and Egwene and Matt like her or not, she is ultimately the closest thing to a family member that they have right now in this situation, and also the closest thing to a mentor, a helper, or someone that can protect them. And her dying, and basically no one really giving a shit except Lan, was kind of weird. Like they cared, right? They did have reactions to it, but they're pretty slight reactions. Like they don't really feel like serious. And you could argue this is because they're kind of in the middle of a battle. They don't have time to do it. But Egwene definitely had time to mourn Moraine, and she, as far as I've gotten into the Lord of Chaos, that has not happened yet. So I don't know. And then Lan is stopped from following them through the portal. Rand reads the letter that Moraine gave him, and it explains a lot. And I don't know. Again, it doesn't feel like she's gone, and I feel like it needs to feel more serious, and it just doesn't. So I don't know. Also, she is the mentor character. Gandalf and Obi-Wan and all these other characters do come back in some fashion. So is Moraine gonna come back too? That might make sense why the way that she's portrayed dying doesn't feel that impactful. I'm not really sure. But it is what it is. Lan gets sent away. And one thing, I did mention before that Swan's reaction to her warder dying didn't feel that serious. And again, Lan's reaction to Moraine doesn't feel serious. Like, this should be the first time that Lan breaks down. The first time that we get to see Lan emotional, because supposedly, the bond between Aes Sedai and warder is the most close bond they can ever experience. And him kind of getting more sad than usual, and just being like, oh, Nynaeve can't love me, and then walking away, doesn't feel like that is the most possible serious, fierce reaction to the person that is intrinsically tied to your soul dying, right? So, I don't know. We get sent away to a new Aes Sedai, and then the maidens talk to Rand about honor, and they're like, dude, you're trying to put us away from the battle, you're not letting us honor you, you're not letting us deal with the situations that come our way, either you let us, or we're gonna just kill ourselves in succession in order to move on from this situation that we find ourselves in. And so Rand has to choose between watching them die, or letting them be led into death, and so he chooses to let them continue to serve him, and he tries his best from now on to actually let them do what they have to do, what they feel like they have to do as his guards, right? So, yeah. And then they skim to Kingland through Waygates, and they bump some Trollocs. And while this is happening, Nynaeve is teaching Swan how to use Teleron Riyadh, and they end up seeing Rand. Then Swan is kicked out of Teleron Riyadh, and Nynaeve follows him as Rand and Ravine are battling, right? And she helps them because Mogadine shows up. Mogadine then is captured by Nynaeve using an Adon that she comes up with, and because Mogadine doesn't really know how to deal with it, she is easily trapped. And now Nynaeve has a way to channel without being angry, and so she uses Mogadine as a proxy to channel through, and manages to hurt Ravine enough for Rand to be able to balefire him and remove him from reality, right? And so this allows all the people that Ravine initially killed at the beginning of the battle, like Aviendha, like Matt, to return to life. And I like that. I thought it was cool. Then Bashir, Final's father, shows up and pledges himself to Rand. And then Morgase is finding followers, on the side, right? So, yeah, that's it for the story. Now my thoughts on this. First of all, the fact that there was no Perrin at all in this book fucking sucks, dude. Perrin is the best character in this fucking series, and he didn't show up a single time in this book. And, I understand. When it comes to, the large-scale political implications of, all of the characters, Matt and Rand make more sense to care about, and Elaine and Nynaeve make more sense to care about than Perrin. But, couldn't we just have, half a chapter about Perrin and just dealing with the fact that, hey, shit happened, now what the fuck are we gonna do? How are we gonna fix this? I really wish we got to see that part. And yes, we do get to see it later. But a whole ass book, dude, 900 pages without Perrin, and he's one of the main characters, or at least he was initially. Dude, come on, give me more. I want to see more of Perrin. He could have moved to Perrin's story faster, and we could have seen him there, in this book, right? So, yeah, the ending again is just so abrupt, and honestly, the ending feels like it's just like, okay, let's move on. And I'm fine with it, but also it's not great because it feels so lackluster compared to everything else that Robert Jordan writes. And then Moraine's death, like honestly, it didn't really feel like anything to me. I like Moraine. I think she's a great character. I really finally loved her a lot when she finally finds a way to connect with Rand easily. And we didn't get enough time of them having an actual meaningful relationship with each other for it to feel like it matters to Rand. But also, the way that she dies, sacrificing herself, even though it's really cool, doesn't have this like oomph to it that I feel like it should have had. So I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me, but I don't really feel like it worked that well. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Fires of Heaven Part 4. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you very much for watching. See you guys later.